Hey guys, it's Lisa here. I hope you're all well. I'm just coming to you today with a very requested upload of how to use EzPDF really simply for PDF patterns. So in this case I'm going to be using a heaven and earth design pattern to demonstrate off for you, just because these already come in PDF format. What I have found is that even if you convert a pattern to PDF, you're still not able to do a symbol search through EzPDF. So it's the ones that have been designed originally in a PDF format, if that makes sense. So I've already obviously downloaded EzPDF onto my Kindle here. So I work on my Kindle when I'm using EzPDF, and I use GoodNotes on my iPad. I did use EzPDF originally on the iPad, but I just found that working on Android on the Kindle was a little bit more stable and the functionality was a little bit better. That's not to say people should rush out and get a Kindle to use EzPDF on. I'm not saying that at all. It was just I had both and I just gave it a try, and it seemed to be a bit more stable for me. But I will show you how to open a pattern in the iPad as well. So the first thing you need to do is email the pattern that you want to use from yourself, and obviously if you're working with a Heaven and Earth Design PDF, it comes across into your account on Heaven and Earth Design, and then you save it wherever you tend to save them, and then all you need to do is just email that pattern to yourself. So I'm going to open my email account, and then I know I've just emailed myself a pattern. So I'm going to click on that pattern, and there's the email open there. And then I'm going to click on the download, and that will open it. Now I know, because this is the only PDF reader that I have got on my Kindle, that it's going to open straight in EzPDF window, in EzPDF. So if that happens and you're working in the same format as I am, then good for you. So all I'm going to do in this case is save this pattern. So I'm going to hit these three dots. If you see, you've got some functionality that's highlighted. So anything that's highlighted in terms of functionality, in terms of these yellow buttons, you can actually work with. So all I'm going to do is just click on those three dots, and then you've got the option to do different things with it. So all I'm going to do, and I genuinely keep this so simple, is save as. I'm going to let it save as it wants to it. I'm not even going to mess around with any of this, changing the file name or anything. I just leave well enough alone, and then I click OK. So it saved it, and I'm just going to press save again, and it's processed it. So as I know it's already gone into PDF because it's already brought up all of the symbols, I just come out of that. I then reopen EzPDF, and then my little file of Alice Descending is just sitting in that top left hand corner, just there, ready to go. So I'm just going to get my iPad now and show the same functionality as I've just shown you on the Kindle. So bear with me one moment. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing if you're working on an iPad. So I'm going to go into my email account. Here is the Alice Descending PDF chart that I've sent myself. I'm going to open it like so. There she is in all her glory. And then if you look in the top right hand corner, you've got a little square with an arrow. So if you're used to exporting into different apps like GoodNotes, Goodreader, Foxit, that kind of thing, you'll recognise that button. So I'm just going to tap on it, and then it'll open up all of the places where I can export this to. So there's EzPDF Reader. I've got, there should be GoodNotes across here, so there's my GoodNotes. So I'm just going to open up EzPDF. I'm going to tap on that, and it's across. So she's in there. So if you just tap near the top, it will open up some icons for you. If you just hit the little cross in the top, it will then show you what you've got in your folder there. So I've got Mini Enchanted, I think that's the wolf one, and then obviously there's Alice Descending. So I'm going to show you how I work with this now on Android and on the Kindle, but the functionality is pretty much the same. I just wanted to show you how you would export it across on either the Kindle or the iPad. I hope that little part was helpful. So I'm now back on the Kindle, and I'm just going to go back into the EzPDF reader on here. So you can see how everything's really nicely set out there on the bookshelf. I don't do anything else in terms of the functionality of that page. It just stays as it is. You can delete things out as and when you like. So if you finish with a particular file, now obviously I finished with the Enchanted Christmas Ornament, but I'm going to take the Rising of the Witches as an example, just to show you how you get rid of them. So I'm just going to tap it, and then you've got the opportunity to copy to a folder, remove this file from the list, or regenerate a cover thumbnail. I never do any of the two above. All I'll do is remove the file from this list, and then you can see it's simply gone. So once you've finished with a file or a pattern, you can delete them as and how you like. So if I was to tap on the artwork of Alice Descending, you'll get a line along the bottom of all the different pages that you've got access to, and you can just scroll along that way and see everything. And then you can just select a page by just tapping on it. I'm not going to for copyright purposes on this one, but I'm going to show you the functionality of how that works just by picking a random pattern out of the selection and a random page just for copyright reasons. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back in a moment. So I've selected the random page just to give you an idea of how this works. I don't pay an awful lot of attention to these buttons along the bottom. I really don't. All this will do is navigate you backwards and forwards to the next page, so I can go back to the previous page. This is just a button that I showed you earlier, where if you tap it, you can save or send to, so you can email it backwards and forwards from here. I don't use those as a rule, but the functionality is there. But I mean, there's more than one ways to skin a cat with this, but this is just my preferred way, and if you can keep it as simple as you possibly can, I'm all for that. The beauty of using EzPDF is that you can search for your symbols. Now, I've used GoodNotes in the past to work heaven and earth designs. That's absolutely fine. It works really, really well, but then I would be constantly going back to cross-stitching, mis-stitches. GoodNotes works really, really well if you're working in blocks of 100 stitches, so a 10 by 10 block. So if you're somebody who does the parking method for your heaven and earths, that works an absolute dream because you're just working in the confines of a 10 by 10 box. I'm a more cross-country kind of gal, so that means I'll work on a symbol or an area and just meander around the page, and I'm not defined by the box, so to speak. So if I can search for my symbol, this makes it so much easier for me. So we'll go ahead and select a symbol. So I'm going to pick this sort of diamond with diamonds in it. So I'm going to press it, and then you'll see, if I move this down a little bit, a little box pops up, and you've got copy, you've got search. So these are the ones I would use. Web, I sometimes hit in error, but I don't use that. Send, I won't use. Voice reading, I don't use in this element. So you've got highlight, underline, strike out, and add an annotation. So I ignore that, ignore these two. So I generally don't underline either, only if I accidentally hit underline instead of highlight. So the buttons I would use across here are the copy, the search, and the highlight button. They're the ones that are important. So I know I want to work using this symbol now. So I've tapped it, and you can see it's sort of highlighted blue. I'm now going to hit the search button. It'll pull up a symbol. This won't always look like the symbol you've highlighted, but don't worry about it. It's what EzPDF's doing to reference it for you. You can hit these if you want, I always do, and then you're going to get only that symbol highlighted and not something that looks a little bit like it. So I would always tap those two, and then it will pick out that word exactly, and then it depends where you want to start it from. It says first page here, so when I tap that, you've got the first page, the current page, or the last page, and it depends how you work in your piece. I tend to tick current. and then it just won't go through the entire document looking for all the symbols on the previous page. So if you're working on a particular page, I tend to go for current page, and then all I'll do is tap the little button there, and you can see all of those symbols there are highlighted in orange. So I'm just going to zoom right back in on that section again for you. Okay, so when you've stitched, all you need to do is just tap and hold it down and hit the highlight button, and it'll turn green. So if you've got a few in line, so say you've selected to stitch these, you can hold it down and then you can drag across and it will highlight as many as you like, and then again you'll hit the highlight button, so all three of those would go green. The nice thing about this is if you're working in rows, you can highlight multiple stitches or multiple symbols at the same time. You can only go across the page, you can't go down the page. So if you decided you wanted to do this, what it will do is it'll highlight everything across, so you can't do that unless you've stitched the entire section. It won't let you do that, so all you'll be able to do is just drag a few stitches across, if that makes sense, or a few symbols, and then you can just again highlight them. If you've highlighted something in error, all you'll need to do is just double tap and then you'll get the delete button. So there's some more different functions down here. So you've got copy, search, web, send, voice region you'll never ever need, open, reply, properties, delete, flatten and cancel. The only ones I ever use on here would be the delete, flatten and cancel, and I'll explain that in a moment. So I don't want those stitches. I'm going to press the delete button, delete this annotation, OK, and then there it goes, it disappears. Will it let me do another if I didn't want those? Will it let me delete again? Yeah, so you can go back and delete in the order that you've done them if you're not happy with them. So this works really, really well if the symbol, it recognises a symbol you're searching for, and sometimes it doesn't. So for example, I'm going to select this symbol here, so I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to search for it in the same way that I've done. And if you notice, this R hasn't changed at all. It hasn't recognised it, and if you hit the search button here, it's going to be the same symbol that's still highlighted. So I'm going to zoom back in and I'm going to show you how to combat that, because this happens in a few of the symbols for some reason. So if I zoom right in for you, so you're going to select it and then you're going to press copy, okay, and then you're going to hit on it again to select it, and then you're going to search, and then what you're going to do up here is delete the R. Just put your cursor on or put the pen on, and then you're going to press paste, and that's the symbol for it. So when I press the little search button now, you've got that funny little symbol now highlighted, and you can just stitch away on it. So that's what to do if the PDF writer or EzPDF doesn't recognise the symbol. So in terms of functionality, that's all I do. I don't change the colour of the highlighter or the search. I just keep it so unbelievably simple. One little tip that I will show you, it can sometimes be a little bit slow and clunky, and I don't know why it does it. Sometimes it's more clunky than others. The one thing to do is to flatten the document from time to time, but you've got to be absolutely certain you're happy with what you've got on the page before you do it. And if you flatten it, what that's doing is stopping you making any alterations to what you've previously done. So if you decide you want to delete a stitch, or you notice it's not in the right place later, you're not going to be able to do anything with that functionality at all. You'll just have to work around it. So to flatten, all you're going to do is the same thing that you would do if you're going to delete. So you're just going to double tap one of your highlighted symbols, and then you'll get this little box pop up. So you've got, this is a point where you could delete, flatten, or if you decide you don't want to do that, you would just hit cancel at this point and that box is going to disappear. But we're going to zoom back in. I'm going to double tap, and then all you're going to do is just hit the flatten button, and it will say here, it's not possible to restore flattened annotations after flattening. So what's that saying is, once you've flattened it, and that's what you've got on your page. So I'm just going to click on OK, and then it's flattened. And what I found out is that if you do this relatively frequently as you're stitching, so if you do like a section, just flatten it, and then you'll find it doesn't clunk about as much, because what you'll find sometimes is it just closes itself down and it goes back to the home page. If you ever want to get back to the home page from this page, all you'll do is just do the back button. It'll do its processing thing, and then it'll go to the front page where it's got your little books all lined up, or your little files all lined up. And that's EzPDF in a nutshell. As I said, there are multiple ways to do this. There are other uploads on the web that you can go and have a look at using different platforms for this. I'm not saying this is the most robust upload by any stretch, but it's the way that I do it, and it's the most simple way that I've found. So hopefully you'll find this useful. I really do hope it helps. Please ask away in the comments box if there's anything else you'd want to know, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. But yeah, all I would say with something like this is keep it as simple as possible, and it'll work a treat. I've had some heaven and earth finishes through using the Kindle in this format and never ever had a problem. So thanks so much for watching. Take care guys, I'll catch you soon. Bye for now.